Hi everyone, it's Bonnie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making a mixed media tag using one of the gel prints that I made in my last video. So I will link that video down in the description box for you if you want to see how I use my gel plate. I used herbs from my garden. And so I'm just going to show you how I went about, making the actual tag out of recycled material and how I went about just adhering my print to my tag. Okay, so I'm just going to get started. Okay, so to make my tags, I am using a recycled cracker box. And here I'm just tracing my template and I'm going to be cutting this out with just some scissors. Okay, and now I'm just adding some gesso and I'm going to apply it to the front and the back of my tag because I just like the surface that it provides and I don't have to worry about water seeping through the cardboard. Okay, so the gesso has dried. Now I'm just going to use some chalk paint and paint the back of my tag. The reason being is it looks pretty, but also I might use this as a gift tag in the future and I can write on top that way. Okay, so this is old chalk paint that I've had for many years. It's still going strong. I used this to paint some furniture like maybe 8 or 9 years ago, but I love it. I love this color. It's by Folk Art and it's sheepskin is the color. Ultra matte. Okay, so even if you just buy some matte paint, it will do the trick. But this is so opaque. I love it. So I'm just going to quickly do this. So the paint's completely dry and now I'm just going to figure out what part of the pattern I want on my tag. Alright, so off camera I did add some eyelets to my tags. I have an eyelet punch and I forgot how to use it, so I had to look for the instructions and I think they turned out rather nice. Just adds a nice little touch. So I'm going to just work on this tag today and I'll work on this one at a later date. I just don't want the video to be too long. And I think I'm going to start off by adding some modeling paste. Surprise, surprise, one of my favorite mediums to use. And I have this stencil here, this vine stencil. I think I'm going to add some vines going down. So I'm just going to place my modeling paste on a piece of wax paper and I want to color it with a green shade. Okay, so sometimes it's hard to gauge how much paste you're going to need and it dries pretty fast. So you have to kind of work at a fast pace. But I'm going to add some of this light green, light olive green by Liquitex. So when you add a little bit of color to your modeling paste, it does kind of change the consistency. It won't be as 3D, but sometimes I prefer that. And of course the color is going to be lighter than, you know, the color that you want, because you're adding white to it. Okay, so I am just going to, and I got some on my hands already. This is why I usually wear gloves, because I'm a little bit of a mess sometimes. I'm gonna get some masking tape real fast. I should have got this before I started to film. Okay, and here we go. I'm just going to place down my stencil. Now it probably won't stick on the wax paper. I want it just to go down like that. It's not too far down. Okay, so I wanted to add a little fence to the bottom of my tag, and I found this cardboard cutout fence, but I think it's a little bit too big for my tag. So I'm going to save this for another day, maybe use it on a mixed media page. But I like this little wooden one, and I just colored it with a alcohol marker. And I'm going to place it probably in the middle of my tag. I wish it was a little bit bigger, but what can you do? And I was looking through my stamps, and I found this set that I bought, I believe, at the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree does have some nice little stamp sets now and then, and they're so inexpensive, guys. I mean, you really can't go wrong. So I always pick them up when I'm shopping in store. And I like this little watering can, so I'm going to use that. And I found this little birdie, and I'm not sure where I bought the set that this came in. Probably online somewhere, but I just don't remember. I have so many stamps, don't we all? And stencils. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down, but I want to add a stamp behind it. Okay, so I'm going to have to look back at my stamps again and see if I can find some floral stamps. There's some here. Maybe I'll use these. And I also looked for some cutouts or just some other little 3D items. And I have some, just some faux greenery here that I might add as well, because I want this to look like a garden. And I also found this little mini, oh my goodness, sunflower. I might add that. Okay, it's getting a little bit bulky, but that's okay. We can figure that out. And yeah, I wanted to add the little birdie too, so I have to make room for the bird. But I think if I just add, yeah, I think that would be good. I found these little cutouts too. I have a dragonfly, and I just don't like all the white, you know, the white space on these, so I don't think I'm going to use them on this project. And I did one earlier, but I want to cut it out better. I found this butterfly. I might use that, but I do have a set of monarchs I really like, so I think I'm going to use that instead. Okay, so I'm just going to get some more stamping blocks so I can stamp on some flowers behind this. And I'll be right back. Okay, so here I'm just situating the foliage to where I want to place it. And once I'm done figuring that out, I'm going to be using my Aleene's Tacky Glue. And I've had really good results with my Aleene's glue for years now. I love using it, and so here I am just gluing things down. And once I have everything glued, I'm just going to place something heavy on top of that area, like the fence I'm putting down, let it sit for a few hours, and I'll be ready to start my next step. Okay, so the fence has dried completely, and I'm just going to set this aside so I don't get anything on it. Because knowing me, I'll probably spill something on it after all this work. Okay, so here I'm using alcohol markers to color in my stamped images. I feel like alcohol markers work the best over top of water-based ink. I don't own any ink pads that are waterproof. If I did, I would probably use a different medium, like watercolor pencils for a different effect. But for now, I like using my alcohol markers. I think it gives a nice streak-free finish too. Okay, so here I am carefully using my craft knife to cut in between the handle and the spout because scissors just won't get in between there. So I sped up this portion, but I am taking my time and being very careful, It's probably one of my least favorite tools, but sometimes I have to use it. And all I can think of is, thank goodness they have cutting machines now. It makes life a lot easier in the crafting world. Here I'm using an oil pastel to kind of distress the outer edge of the tag. I should have done this step earlier, but I completely forgot. And I use oil pastel because I don't have any fancy stamp pads to do the same thing. And oil pastel works for me. If I am concerned about the oil pastel smudging, which I don't find it does if you use a light application, I will just fix my project that I'm working on with a workable fixative outside. Okay guys, I'm nearly done. I want to just add some green to the fence to make it look like moss, and then I'm going to actually add real moss around here. So I'm going to paint the fence first. I think I'll just use like a cotton swab for that. Okay, so I just have some green paint here. Green earth is the color, so. I'm adding some stickles just to make it look like there's water coming out of the watering can. So I have this moss here. I'm not sure what this one's called. I know I have reindeer moss, which is the green moss. And I like this. I like this brown stuff, but I think the green might look better. Oops. So, I'm dropping all my paints here. So I have this moss. I have all kinds. Maybe I'll use this one. So I know this one is called reindeer moss. Alright, so that is my finished tag. I had a lot of fun creating this one. I added a little cord to the top and we're good to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please remember to give me a thumbs up if you can. And I want to say Happy Canada Day to all of my fellow Canadians. I hope you have a great one. And until next time, take care and have fun creating. Bye, everyone.